President Cyril Ramaphosa has welcomed the United Nations Security Council's resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire in Gaza during the holy month of Ramadan. Ramaphosa says that the global body must ensure that there is compliance. Meanwhile, University of Johannesburg is hosting two Palestinian activists, Rawan, Masri and Fathi, Nimer. It's part of mobilizing global solidarity for Palestinians. Khayelihle Khumalo has more on that for us.
Quite a very important subject matter, as you know, that there's concerted efforts really from so many parts of the world to highlight the situation unfolding in Gaza, in fact in Palestine. As we saw yesterday, the United Nations Security Council really adopting that resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire, but also for the release of the hostages. So we're here at the University of Johannesburg, where they're hosting some Palestinian activists, and let's hear from them really in terms of their fleeting reaction with those developments from New York. And Navi, once again, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you for having us. As Palestinians, we are heartened with the UN Security Council because we have been calling for a ceasefire for quite a while now. And even though the US insists that it's non-binding, that's not how the Security Council resolutions work. The thing is that we cannot allow this to be just a fleeting moment. We have to build upon this. We have to use this as an opportunity for a permanent ceasefire. And after that, we have to make a change to the status quo. We cannot go back to how things were before October 7th, because October 7th was necessary because of the decades of oppression and caging the Palestinians in Gaza that has necessitated something like October 7th. So we need to try to escape this status quo. We need to try to escape this method of trying to manage or shrink Palestinian contact, trying to give them some economic rights without political rights. And we need to go back and try to find a just solution for a decolonized Palestine.
Now, just tell us about this situation. I mean, obviously, we're always exposed to those horrific images coming out of Gaza. Even now, currently, the situation, untenable situation for that matter in Rafah, where we've seen so many calls, not for the IDF to continue with that offensive, but Prime Minister Netanyahu is very determined to go ahead, even without the US's support.
Netanyahu is very desperate for any kind of political win, even if it's symbolic. But so far, they have really failed to achieve any of their goals. I mean, their stated goal since the beginning was to dismantle Hamas. But even in the areas which are so-called, cleared of Hamas, we still see strong resistance fighting. And this adventurism into Rafah is really just revenge, because they cannot achieve any military goal. Their goal is mainly to make Gaza as unlivable as possible, so there's nowhere else for the Palestinians to go, and to try to push Palestinians into Sinai or abroad or any other place. But Netanyahu saying that he's going to do this without American support, if there actually was no American support, he would not be able to continue. The Americans are objecting publicly, but privately, and not so privately. They are sending billions worth of weaponry, and they are giving Security Council cover for Netanyahu. Up until yesterday, that is. So they're already arguing that it's not binding. So it really brings into question how serious the United States is. But in my mind, there's no question. It's not very serious. They're trying to play up to the Democratic base that they're trying to do something. But really, Biden is a Zionist that has always supported Israel and its wars throughout history. Even in Lebanon, they told them, go, even bomb children and women, just go as far as you need to go in Lebanon. And this is the same, really, tactic that the United States has been taking.
What do you make of the global solidarity? I mean, countries like South Africa going to the International Court of Justice, obviously with the measures that were really just released by the World Court, but we haven't really seen much difference on the ground in terms of making sure that Israel is preventing any act of genocide from happening.
Yeah, because unfortunately there's no enforcement mechanism for all of these international organizations. And if they want to be serious about enforcing them, we need sanctions, we need boycotts, we need divestments on Israel on a state level, on an institutional level, on a popular level. When it comes to the popular masses, we have seen millions of people come out and show out for Palestine. Palestine has always enjoyed the support of the popular masses, but it's simply not within the interests of governments to antagonize the United States, for example, than it is to, for what reason? Because in the international international community, unfortunately, there's no such thing as morality. It's all about interests and networks of interests. So Palestinians are heartened, and they appreciate the South African efforts in the ICJ. And we think that all these efforts need to be built even more and stronger with time. And if we want actual real pressure, we need to support the boycott, disinvestment, sanctions movement. And as a South African, you'd know, even after your Sharpeville moment, it took decades for the apartheid system to collapse, unfortunately speaking. And now we're talking about a Sharpeville almost every day in Gaza. And this is a terrible price to pay. But we are convinced that none of this blood has been in vain and that Palestine will be liberated within our lifetimes.